Jurgen, thank you for joining me today to have a quick chat about ale.
Happy to be here.
Did you keep count how many ales you've been to?
I'm afraid not, but it's been a good number. Definitely not all of them. Maybe half or something. Maybe slightly less than half. So five, six, something along that
Yeah.
order.
Yeah. So more than a handful, but maybe not quite 10.
Yeah.
If I remember correctly, you're one of the founding fathers of the whole thing, right? Very quickly share, how did this come about?
Well, the story is that I was sort of annoyed that there was this big agile conference in the US and nothing ever seemed to happen at that scale in Europe because everyone was focusing on their own countries. We had Agile Holland, Agile Finland, Agile Sweden, and so on. I was a European traveler going to these events in many countries, and I thought it would be nice to learn from each other and collaborate and organize sort of a European Union, quote unquote, of agilists. So I set out to approach lots of local organizers and ask them if they wanted to collaborate on something at the European level. And then I believe it was during XP in Spain, it was either Barcelona or Madrid, I don't know where we actually had a good number of people joining and coming up with lots of ideas in a session that I organized. And the walls were full things that we could be doing, the craziest things from agile trains going through Europe and whatnot. One obvious idea emerged, which was a pan-European event. And at some point, I came up with Agile Lean Europe, as in ale, because that sounded like beer. I thought that was funny. I literally came up with a logo in the form of a beer glass, but then the stars of the European Union. I had my friend make that logo. And then I left it to the community basically, because I was not even the first one who organized that first ale event. That was a group of other people. Of course, I went there, I did a talk, and I was so happy to see that the idea that I had was taking off, and actually other people did all the work. I didn't do anything. I just said something should happen. And then things happened, and that was great to see. And yeah, since then it has been organized every year, and I never organized one myself. I hope to keep it that way. I just attend when I can.
Yeah. I didn't know this story about the logo because I didn't make the connection because beer glasses look different in Bavaria. But now that you said it, makes sense.
I
Yeah.
can imagine that, yeah.
Yeah. Oh, cool. And so if someone asked you when you hosted that session or when that session happened, your confidence level that in 2025 it would still be going and at the size and community level that it is, what would you have given it in terms of a chance that this would happen?
Oh, not a big chance for sure. I was just happy that it happened then at the time. I remember I was slightly disappointed that other things really take off. As I said, the wall was full with crazy ideas. I don't remember even what they all were. I just remember this thing about an agile train because it was so funny. It was so outlandish. The only thing that remained was was the annual ale event. But yeah, I should count my blessings. That was awesome. And nothing wrong with one thing taking off and the other ideas disappearing over our shoulder. So yeah, no, I've never considered how long this would last. We'll see. Still,
Yeah. So what would you say, what are the reasons that make you come back each year or, whenever it's possible, but you keep coming back? Why is that?
Because, for one, I still feel like sort of the intellectual father, even though, as I said, other people actually made the first events happen. But yeah, it was me who said, hey, we should organize around Europe. And I was the one coming up with the name and the logo. So I feel as one of the founding fathers. And second, I have friends that I can see at this event that I do not easily see at other events, or not to the extent that it happens at Ale, because this has as its purpose that we get people from all over Europe together, while there are plenty of other events, of course, happening around Europe, but they tend to have mostly people, and then perhaps a few speakers flying in from other countries. It is different, in my opinion.
Yeah. So let's double click on the difference. What would you say is different about Ale, since you've seen a few conferences in your days, so you've got lots to compare with. What would you say is what's the special thing about Ale that's different than in other places?
Well, what is special is that it is a peer-to-peer event. It is open space, as you know. And now this also happens at other conferences, that there are open space sessions, sometimes in the afternoon, while the mornings are talks, sometimes in parallel, even though that rarely works well, in my opinion. This one is purely open space. Other events like Agile Coach Camps, I believe, that have a similar format, similar engagement level of peer-to-peer and open space. So I cannot judge that because I don't usually go to Agile Coach Camps because I'm not an Agile coach myself. But compared to the other events that I attend, it is the pure focus on open space that makes it stand out, and everyone can contribute. So the format is different from what I'm used to, and also the culture, the playfulness, the vibe is just different compared to other places. Yeah, it's the weirdos and the wackos in a positive sense that tend to go to Ale, and I love that. Other events, traditional conferences are more often a bit old-fashioned, a bit more standard, and there's room for that. Every type of event has its place and time, but what makes Ale stand out is yeah, that is different that way.
Yeah. I've been to quite a few Agile Coach camps, and yeah, they are open space. I would say they're even more playful, mostly. Um, but still the vibe's not the same. There's some secret sauce about ale that just makes that happen. And it might well be that it's traveling around and hosted by a different team each year that just adds this little bit of surprise what it's gonna be like this year.
Right, because every
Um,
year is different. Because every time it's in a different city, different organizers that have their own way, their own ideas of organizing things, and sometimes they do things well, sometimes they do things badly. But it's, as you said, it's a surprise, and that's that's fun.
yeah. And what would you say is your favorite part of the conference?
Um, I think just showing up and walking around, chatting with people. I don't necessarily am interested in specific talks or discussions or whatever. It's just being there, having lunches and dinners and coffees, and I made some friends at these events, and yeah, for me that's the reason I go there.
Yeah. I'm happy to tell you that uh, we have specialty coffee this year, and I
Awesome.
that was one of my uh, not, or I don't want to say main things, but one of the things I paid attention to, like, do they have good coffee? Do they have a good machine? Do they have someone who knows how to make good coffee with a good machine? Because all those are not obvious things. And if nothing else, I hope this is going to be the ale with the best coffee.
I look forward to that.
All right, that's it already from my questions. Is there anything that you would like to add in terms what you would say? Well, people need to know this, otherwise they don't have a clear picture of what ale is.
Um, the only thing that comes to mind is be open in terms of your expectations, open-minded. I mean, people don't come there to present their talks because that's not the kind of event. It's more like discussion, debate, conversations, and playfulness. And yeah, you're not going there to sell your wares, so to speak.
Yeah. All right. I do know that many people come because they look forward to your sessions. I'm pretty sure, I'm assuming you're going to have sessions in Munich since you always do. And I know that many people come because they know they'll get something valuable out of it. So it's definitely uh, a selling point for us that when you come, it's like people know, oh, I'm going to learn something valuable here. So looking forward to have you in Munich this year.
It would be great to be
And
there. And usually I come up with my own contributions at the last responsible moment. Like, oh, I
yeah,
might be running an experiment for this new game I'm thinking of, or this topic on my mind bugs me and I would like to have people's opinions on. But I don't plan this. It's just usually a day or two before, like that I think, this could be my contribution this year.
yeah. Yeah, and actually, that's one of my favorite parts as well. That in another conference where you have to tell them half in advance, this is what I'm going to talk about, and this is the outline. It's like, well, I don't know yet what I'm going to be interested in half a year.
Hmm. Yep.
Anyway, looking forward to seeing you in Munich. Thanks for kicking this off.
Me too, Manuel. Looking forward to it. Thanks.